It is the most famous haunted house in America. 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, New York. For 28 days, one family claimed they lived through a nightmare. Swarms of flies in the dead of winter. Unseen forces. Levitation. A demonic, red-eyed creature. It became a best-selling book. A blockbuster movie. But was it a hoax for money? Or was it real? The truth is that the story of Amityville does not begin with a ghost. It begins with blood. Tonight, we unseal the dark file on Amityville, a story that starts with a massacre. Before the Lutzes, there were the DeFeos. On November 13, 1974, at 6:30 p.m., 23-year-old Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr. burst into a local bar. "You gotta help me. I think my mother and father are shot." Police arrived at the pristine Dutch colonial home and found a scene of unimaginable horror. The entire family, 6 people, his father, his mother, his 2 brothers, and his 2 sisters, were dead. All of them shot in their beds with a high-powered rifle. Butch DeFeo confessed. He said voices in the house told him to do it. But this is where the first mystery of Amityville begins. The one that is not a ghost story. How did 6 people get shot by a rifle so loud it could be heard a mile away, and none of them woke up? The coroner's report found no sedatives. All 6 victims were found in the exact same position, lying on their stomachs. It was as if they never even moved. The police could not explain it. For 13 months, the house sat empty. It was a murder house. No one wanted it. Until December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz, a young couple with 3 children. They bought the house, furniture and all, for a steal price, $80,000. They knew about the murders, but they thought they could make it a happy home. The day they moved in, they asked a priest, Father Mancuso, to bless the house. The priest would later testify under oath about what happened next. When he entered the upstairs sewing room, he was overcome by a feeling of dread. He began to pray, and a deep, masculine voice boomed through the room. "Get out!" The priest fled. He claims he was later tormented by a presence. His hands broke out in painful, stigmata-like blisters, and he was overcome with sickness. The Lutzes' 28 days had begun. The haunting started small, unexplainable cold spots, doors and windows opening and closing on their own. Then, the flies. In the dead of winter, in December, the sewing room, the get-out room, would become thick with hundreds of buzzing flies. Green, gelatinous slime oozed from the keyholes. Black stains appeared on the toilets. A crucifix turned itself upside down. The activity began to focus on George. He became obsessed with the fireplace. He stopped bathing. His personality grew dark, angry, and every single night, he woke up at 3:15 a.m., the estimated time of the DeFeo murders. Kathy Lutz claimed she levitated, floating off her bed. She saw red eyes staring at her from the darkness. The youngest daughter, Missy, began talking to a new imaginary friend. She called it Jodie. Jodie was described as a small, demonic, pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. Jodie could change shape and told Missy she would live in the house forever. The 28th day was the climax. The family claims the house exploded with paranormal activity. Invisible forces, slamming bodies, loud band music. They fled, leaving all their possessions, and never returned. The story exploded. The book was a sensation. The movie, a blockbuster. The Lutzes became rich. And that is when the hoax theory began. The loudest voice came from the last person anyone expected, William Weber, the defense lawyer for the murderer. Ronald DeFeo Jr. Weber claimed the entire story was a fraud. He said, "We created this horror story over many bottles of wine. We took real-life elements and we built upon them." Weber's plan used the haunting story to get Butch DeFeo a new trial by proving the house was possessed by evil spirits that made him kill. The Lutzes would get the book deal. Everyone would get paid. So, was it a hoax? George and Kathy Lutz went to their graves insisting their story was 100% true. The priest, Father Mancuso, who was not part of the wine story, testified under oath in court that he was told to get out. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue, has had many owners since the Lutzes. All of them report nothing. No flies, no flies, no voices. The house is quiet. The house is quiet. Did the Lutzes and a lawyer pull off one of the greatest hoaxes of the 20th century? Or was the evil so profound that after 28 days, it simply finished its work and left? A file that begins with a real, unsolved massacre and ends with a story that is too terrifying not to be true. The file remains unsealed. We post new investigations every single day. Subscribe to Dark Files Unsealed. The Dark Files are waiting.